Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for coming out tonight. And thanks to those who joined the field trip today. What'd you think of that field trip? Woo! That was great. You know, we try to start the conference on an uplifting note because, Warren, you're a real downer. I hate to say it, but it's just... But that's the kind of information we really need to know and bring to decision makers as we're advancing local policies. There's not anyone better in the country to hear from next. The next speaker really is the reason why we're here in Irvine. She has led the community, I think, with others in collaboration with folks in the Irvine community, residents and elected officials, to adopt a policy that starts to remove toxic chemicals from land management on public property. So that includes parks and playing fields and all of that. Non-Toxic Irvine is a group that many of you work with and have heard of. Their successes here in Irvine, which you're going to hear about, are being replicated all across the country. We're working closely in collaboration with Non-Toxic Irvine and Beyond Pesticides. So guess who I'm talking about? Does anyone know who I'm talking about? Any idea? That's it. See, Kim Conte. So Kim is a founding member of Non-Toxic Irvine, and recently appointed by the Honorable Christina Shea to a position that is very illustrious here as a Community Services Commissioner. So she's official now. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Dr. Warren Porter. Now that we're all ready to hit the bar because we're so depressed. I think the exciting thing is that we've shown that when you work with your elected officials in your school district and you ask them to make your child's health, more important than weed abatement, that you can be successful. The city of Irvine has now demonstrated that you can have beautiful parks and playing fields without the use of toxic pesticides. And just 2 months ago, the city of Irvine and the school district celebrated 2 years with organically maintaining all pest pressure from weeds to rodents. So I think that's something that is very exciting. And the fact that the fields are not only safe, those of you that got to join us for the field trip, you got to walk in this grass. It's not just beautiful, it's safe, and I think the most exciting thing, and we'll share this information with you, is that IUSD was able to switch to a systems-based turf management program at a cost-neutral scenario. So not only was it cost-neutral, moving from synthetic inputs into organic inputs, they were able to take their water usage from 6 days a week down to 2. So there's many things to celebrate. We don't need to hit the bar just yet. We can kind of take what is coming in from our, the research and the sound science and use that to work with our elected officials and our school districts just to share that there are solutions. And they're beautiful solutions. And now I'd like to call up my partner in crime, Bob Johnson, one of the founders of Non-Toxic Irvine.
Well, very briefly, I think the last presentation is why we're here. And I know that when we started this process, I really had very little knowledge about pesticides and the impact of pesticides. And of course, over the last few years, have gained a much greater insight. All I can say is, even with all of the experience we've had and what we've been working on, this last presentation really makes it paramount for us to continue to move forward and not slow our efforts. to work with these communities, work with the school districts to ensure that they move in the same direction that Irvine and Irvine Unified School District have started out with. And I'm delighted that you're all here. I'm glad that we can work with many of you and look forward to working with you in the future as we move towards a non-pesticide future. So thank you.
And now our Vice Mayor of the City of Irvine, Christina Shea.
Well, good evening. It's such a pleasure for me to invite or to welcome all of you to our beautiful city for this 36th National Pesticide Forum. I was able to meet many of you at our dinner last night, our reception, and also go out on our tour, our goat herd tour. Didn't you just love it? I just was so thrilled, and I want to thank Kim and Bob for all their effort and Beyond Pesticides for putting it together. So we're very pleased to host this conference this weekend. For those that aren't familiar with the city of Irvine, I don't know how many of you have been here to our beautiful city, but it's a pride. It's a situation of pride for me. I'm always very pleased to go to events and welcome everyone and share a little bit about our great city. We are an outstanding master plan award-winning city. I was elected first in 1992, and then after 4 years became the directly elected mayor for the city. And over many years, I've been the longest serving member of the city council. Some people have really wanted to get me out, but I keep coming back. So, because I have so many great ideas and have done so much, I believe, for this city. But let me just share a couple things. We are, besides being a master plan city, we're considered one of the safest cities in the United States. We're one of the best cities to raise a family. These are all accolades we've gotten from different organizations over the years. One of the top 10 cities for parks and open space, and we have 16,000 acres of open space. One of the best cities for business, and this is my favorite, one of the best cities for women. You can take that and figure out what that's all about, but when I was mayor, I promoted a lot of the women. All things being equal, I wanted to make sure that our women had a fair chance at some of the top positions in our city, so I was a promoter of women, though I love all you men. I just want you to know that. Let me just... So our forum this weekend is providing a place where we can hear from those on the cutting edge of non-toxic pesticide research. It's a place where we can meet with advocates working to develop policies, practices designed to protect both people and our environment. And it's also a place to learn from those working on local pesticide and land management ordinances. Last month, the city of Irvine, as Kim suggested, we celebrated our 2nd anniversary of adopting a historic Organics First landscaping policy. Since then, Irvine has successfully and organically maintained all pest pressure from weeds to rodents on more than 570 acres of community and neighborhood parks and athletic fields, over 800 acres of public right-of-way, including street medians and parkways, and 70,000 trees, and nearly 1.5 million square feet of facilities within our city. The organic landscaping policy protects our open space reserves, our multiple wildlife habitats, children, pets, families from the ravages of cancer-causing chemicals, applications in our city-maintained spaces. And we have also, as a city, demonstrated that you can have beautiful parks, playing fields, and open space that meet community expectations without the use of toxic pesticides at a very good price point. And that's always been an issue for local elected officials. I've shared that with some of you to bring this into your communities. It's the financial aspect to their local budgets that are problematic for many. But when you can provide the applications at a price point that works and doesn't raise their budgets too extensively, that's a real success. So by using the information that will be presented in your communities, for your communities, can be discussed during this conference this weekend. I would like to thank Beyond Pesticides, UCI's Center for Occupational and Environmental Health, and Non-Toxic Irvine, which I'm a member of. There's 3 of us, volunteers. For organizing this forum focusing on our organic neighborhoods, healthy children, families, and our ecology. And special thanks also goes out to all the sponsors who help make it possible for people around the country to participate in this event. So I really am looking forward to meeting more of you personally. If there's anything we can do from Non-Toxic Irvine, which we're now sending to a new name, Non-Toxic Neighborhoods, because we brought on more than 6 to 7 cities now, and we have probably 7 to 10 cities that are waiting for us to come and help them set up their program, but because we're a volunteer group, we just don't have all the time when we all have to work and do all the other things we do, but we're doing everything we can in Orange County and California, and Bob's moving into Oregon to do everything we can to make sure that we help communities learn how to implement these marvelous programs that we have implemented. And it's just one of the most proudest moments in all the 25 years I've served our city. So thank you so much for being here. I really look forward, as I said, to getting to know all of you a little bit better. And again, we will have cards and our contact numbers. So if you have any need for help, to help you get moving in your communities, we're more than willing to do it. This is a volunteer effort, and we want you to be successful too. So thank you so much for coming.
Okay, I should introduce myself, actually. I'm Jay Feldman with Beyond Pesticides, in case you didn't know that. Thank you. And thank you, Christina. Thank you for your leadership. When I came at Irvine about 2 years ago, I met Christina. I could tell, watching you, that you were gonna help take this to the next level. So we're really hopeful that that will happen, and we know with your leadership, you're gonna help move other communities. If you didn't know, you're actually now part of the pre-conference to the Beyond Pesticides Forum. We started this about, 10 years ago. People said, or even more, people said, we really need to, have a level playing field, bring everybody up to speed on all the acronyms, FIFRA, OFPA, FDA, EPA, whatever all those acronyms are, and basically have a session that precedes the actual beginning of the conference. So we said, what better group to put together than some of our board members, people that have engaged on this issue, and we created this session, which we now call Understanding Pesticides, Health Law, and Media. So it's expanded over time, and we expanded it even this year with Warren Porter. So after this session, we will then have a quick reception, and then we'll begin the evening event with Carrie Gillum and Steve Sprinkle.